Hi there, everybody. This is Amber Johnson in Tucson. I've got my headphones in, so I hope you guys can hear me. Got my notebook out. I just had to say hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Amber Johnson with Helping the Good People here in Tucson, Arizona. And today's topic will be about forgiveness. Seems that a lot of people that I'm meeting these days have been coming across that word, and in conversations it's become very apparent to me that not only have I been in the process of working on forgiveness and understanding what it is, which I'm sorry, but I had to Google that shit to clarify exactly what it is that I'm supposed to be working on. But it seems a lot of people that I'm meeting are also going through that. So not only have I been enlightened on my own journey with forgiveness of the ones that have hurt me, but also on what the actual meaning is. And last night I was over at my DV class, which is required for my charges, that spurred on this whole entire thing of domestic violence. But I got a phone call from the manager here at the house where I'm staying, and there's about 8 ladies here, and they're required to do a few groups a week. Well, they made me an assistant manager on Sunday because I'm just fitting in and, very comfortable with the ladies. And I'm very honored, first of all, for being asked to be an assistant manager at a house full of beautiful women, all in recovery and fighting their own little battles, just as I am. And so I got a phone call, and they asked me, they said, "Hey, Amber, our lady that does the spirituality group is working late, and we'd like to know if you'd like to run one of our groups." And I was like, wow, really? I was like, I've got to finish up with DV class first. I'll be there. And so on my way there, I was like thinking, like, what would be cool about spirituality that I could teach? Because the whole goal of helping the good people when I first started this was to open up my home to everyone else, to help victims of domestic violence with escape planning and law help and all these other things, and try to give back to the community in any way I could. So the ultimate goal for me is to open a place like this, like a safe house, and bring in therapy and other groups and everything else. And kind of over a 2-year period, I've kind of mingled between ideas. I met musicians. I started doing all these creative projects and events planning, A&R scouting, and giving back resources and law help. And it's come a long way in a couple of years, I'll tell you. So the bottom line is what I'm getting at, because I like to ramble because I get excited about this stuff, is that I was asked to do a group. So, of course, my one topic, I was like, what can I talk about today? What would be cool in the healing process of not only recovery, but also healing through trauma and giving back? So I started to think, well, the main topic I've been coming across with conversations and people over these last few weeks has been about forgiveness. So I had to Google it. I'm telling you, I had to read up on it, even though I know what forgiveness is. And I had to read up on it and decide, how would I start this group? So I kind of just flowed with it. I tell you, these girls were very accepting. And so my first thought was, well, first of all, I'm going to ask the opinions of everyone out there on what their view of forgiveness is. And then I asked them to talk about an experience that they had that would require forgiveness. And if they could ask one person for forgiveness, what would it be and who would it be? And so I want to ask you guys that. What do you think forgiveness is? And I want you to really think about it. Like, you don't have to go over your whole entire life experiences and tell me everything that's on your mind. Just open your mind just a little bit about what forgiveness means to you. And start really thinking about what it is to forgive. Why do we forgive? Why should we? One of the questions I'm always asked is like, well, I can forgive anyone, and I've forgiven, but I can't forget. It's the same thing. If we can't forget, then we haven't forgiven. And I'm like, no, actually it's not. Forgiveness is more for yourself. It's more for understanding what happened to get you where you are today, right? And it's about accountability, taking responsibility for your part in whatever the situation was. Now, when you think about it in that perspective, it opens up your mind a little bit wider to exactly every little thing in your life. Every word that you said to someone, every hurtful thing that you've done to someone, in actuality, it hurts you. Because who's alone at the end of the night? You. You're alone. Why? Because you only have you. So who do you really need to forgive first? You. So that became the main topic. So really, who are you? Who do you need to forgive? Is it yourself? I think so. And that has been the hardest part of my journey here, is learning to forgive myself for everything that's happened in my life. But also in the process of that, and the hardest part of addictions, suicidal thoughts, domestic violence, is realizing that the lessons that we've been taught, the things that we've gone through, are actually self-made, self-inflicted. It's like living into a mental prison, putting yourself inside of a cage and saying, this is the only way. If it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for that person, blame, 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 blame. That is the first part of accepting responsibility, is to say, you know what? No matter what, it wasn't my fault. I can't control the situation. I can't control the other person. In the end, you're the one sitting there alone. So first thing with forgiveness is forgive yourself, right? Then you start working on the next process, which is forgiving the person that hurt you. That is the biggest thing that I've been working on, is to accept the fact that I played a big part in what has happened in my life. The part that literally got me arrested. I was very shocked and dumbfounded when I got arrested. I blamed everybody else. I said, I did this because, not realizing that if I wouldn't have calmed down, if I would have calmed down and really taken a look at what the situation was, what was going on in my life at the time, and why I was responding the way I was, I probably would have handled things a little bit better. But no, my mouth got the better of me. My fighting back, trying to control the situation, trying to get people to listen to my story, made everyone think that I was just crazy. I thought that protecting my family and myself was the only way to go. That even though I was right and true and in everything that I was saying, no one was listening. So I reacted, automatic, with anger, resentment, frustration. I couldn't control my actions. So I had to sit with myself. I had to accept the fact that even though I might have been right, I was actually wrong in the way I handled things. So I had to sit there and think about, how do I forgive myself for what happened? How do I take responsibility for what happened? I had to go within. I had to reevaluate my behavior, my actions, and who I affected in the process. It's a very long journey. It's very hard to deal with forgiveness, especially when you've been hurt and you've lived in trauma and turmoil and silence and being silent. I was silenced by so many people. I was told to shut my mouth and to quit speaking my truth. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm right. But in doing so, I was in control. In the end of it, though, who's in control? Nobody. You can't control that kind of shit. You have to literally stop and really think before you act. I'm grateful for my experience. I am so blessed for what has happened now that I look back. You know, I was lost. I was angry. My kids were taken. The love of my life snapped on me. And I was fighting back in the only way I knew how. And that was verbally and with fight or flight mode. Attack! Not realizing how many other people were being hurt in the process. So that's why I'm starting with this video here to tell you that what happened to me is something that I prayed for. I was at the end of my rope. I wanted to give up on life. I wanted to run away from all my problems. I didn't want to take accountability. All I know is that I wanted to protect. And in doing so, caused me to get sick. It caused me to basically die within. But what I learned by being forced to sit still was that I had to learn to love myself again, to look at my life, look at what caused my incarceration, and actually take responsibility and accountability. But that opened the door to forgiveness. Forgiving yourself is the first step to recovery, whether it's in any situation. When you say, because last night's group, when they asked me to run that group and we talked about it and I got everyone to talk, that was pretty much the only thing that it came down to. Was not only did they want forgiveness from other people that had hurt them, yeah, but the bottom line is that they had to forgive themselves. And that goes for me. I've had to learn to forgive myself for the way that I behaved and all the people that I hurt. I was selfish. I was not thinking about anyone. I was trying to control, not realizing that that's what I was doing. I was trying to make people listen, but no one listened. Why? Because I was frantic. I reacted in the only way I knew how, but that's also from my upbringing. It's taken me a long time to realize that my own shit is what got me where I am. And today I built Helping the Good People based on all the wisdom, all the insight, all the learning and all the experiences and lessons that I've learned along this path to be able to help and give back. It starts with you. Healing yourself, self-love, self-care is the ultimate lesson. And once you start working on you and forgiving you, then the whole rest of the world opens up with possibilities. This is Amber Johnson here in Tucson. I began Helping the Good People as a simple little thing of giving back. So if you need help with resources, housing, law, a safe place to go, someone to help you through suicide, I've been there, done it, and I am here to help heal this world in any way, shape, or form. Why? Because the ultimate thing is love. Love heals. Love cures all. Get rid of your fear, your doubt, your ego, your control, and exchange it with love, compassion, empathy, kindness. And give lots of hugs and smiles, because I'm here for you. Stay tuned for my next video. Have a great evening. Love and light to you all.